begin with e4, e5, pretty standard stuff. Now we hit them with d4. Your opponent's already surprised from move 2. After thinking a bit, they take the pawn because there's nothing else to do. Now you play c3, another shocking move, sacrificing a pawn. What an idiot, your opponent thinks as they grab the pawn, but no, they're the idiot, because you play bishop c4, giving away another free pawn. After takes, you take back and have already started an attack. If you get to this position, congrats my friend. This position practically plays itself. The bishops are open, the queen is coming into the attack, you have the center, all while your opponent has moved 0 other pieces. A tier. Again, we start the same way. After here, 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 and here, we play b4, straight up begging for the pawn to be captured. If you don't take, then I take you. So once your opponent takes, you first let out a grin and strike back with c3. Now your opponent either moves here, where they get attacked again, and you take control of this beautiful center, or they move here, where you take control of this beautiful center, all for a measly b pawn. A tier. Now, let's get crazy. After we get here, you play the shocking move, knight takes pawn. And after this, you got nothing. F tier. Okay, let's go back to playing chess. Now let's once again be aggressive and play here. Now just like the Danish gambit, we play here again. And we already saw how that played out. A tier. Now, let's say your opponent plays a Scandinavian this time. We're going to take the pawn and try to defend it. Kind of like a reverse gambit. But to be honest, that pawn isn't worth it. Your opponent has their pieces out and have already started attacking your weak center. This isn't going to cut it. C tier. Now, let's switch it up a bit. Instead of moving here, like every other opening, you're going to move here. And once your opponent plays the only move that makes any sense and pretends to be white, you're going to start the attack with f4. If they take, then you attack, then control the center. If they defend, you keep putting more pressure until they have to take, then control the center. You always have ideas to do this and attack like this. Just super aggressive stuff. S tier. Finally, let's get the obvious one out of the way. A super aggressive opening tier list wouldn't be complete without mentioning the fried liver. After you get to this position, you play knight g5, putting pressure on the weakest black square. Now don't get me wrong, this is a fun opening to play and you'll definitely score a few wins with it, but since this is so popular, everyone and their mom knows the right way to defend is here and then here. And a few moves later, you realize you gotta retreat your troops and black is the one actually starting to attack. B tier. But wait, before you log into chess.com, eager to put these openings to the test, only to find yourself playing with the black pieces, let me give you some more openings to try for the other side this time. Alright, so this time as black, you're gonna play here and counter here with here, kinda like a reverse king's gambit. Just like the Vienna, by moving the f-pawn, we're able to control the center and get our rooks involved. Just one problem. If your opponent knows what they're doing, they'll take here, and you can't kick out the knight, because if you do, they'll throw in a check, and once you block, they'll hit you with this, and now you're losing. But if they do take the wrong pawn, you can really punish them by first attacking the knight. If they get too greedy trying to attack, we can make them pay like this. But all this is assuming they play the wrong moves. It's harder to play the right moves in speed chess, but still highly risky. But high risk equals high reward. B tier. Now let's get into the good stuff. If your opponent is a d4 player, brace yourself, because you're in for a long positional battle where you have exactly a 66% chance of falling asleep. That is, unless you play e5. Now if your opponent takes this pawn, you have successfully made the game interesting by opening the position and getting your pieces involved. Keep putting pressure here and you'll do fine. If your opponent takes the more exciting pawn, politely ask them to brace themselves, because they'll be shocked to find you play d4. While it doesn't seem like much compensation for a pawn, it's really hard for your opponent to move. You're threatening bishop b4 check, and they can't really move the e-pawn, because then you'll take with en passant. And if you need, you can always pick up the e5 pawn later in the game. A tier. Another way to play against d4 is to just play e5, but without your pawn on d4 this time, your opponent's queen is active, and that e5 pawn gives you problems. Your d-pawn is locked, and you can't really move. Play this opening if you got something else to do, and want the game to be over quickly. C tier. Now, let's address the elephant gambit in the room. Instead of playing f5 and weakening your king, like in the Latvian, we're gonna move this pawn here instead. The ideas are the same, except our king is safe, and there is no queen h5 threats. And don't worry, this isn't really a gambit, because no matter which pawn they capture, you're gonna win it back soon. Like this, and like this. In the end, you'll be left with an exciting position that your opponent hasn't seen before. A tier. Now what if your opponent tries to be the exciting one and plays the fried liver? Of course there is the d5 knight a5 line, which is still winning for you, but if you want to switch it up even more, play this. After your opponent thinks you blundered and takes on f7, you hit them with this. Now believe it or not, the right move here is king f1, because if they take, then this happens. Even if they do somehow find this move, they still need to defend against all of this. Assuming they do find all the right moves and haven't burnt up all their time, it also helps that this knight is trapped and can be captured at your leisure, S tier. And finally, before we wrap it up, let's look at punishing d4 players one last time by playing here. Don't worry, it's not a sacrifice. Even if your opponent tries to hold on to this pawn, you're gonna win it back and be left with a pretty sweet position. But on the off occasion, your opponent is above 2000 elo and gives the pawn back immediately, you might have to go on a little horseback ride. B tier. Now that we got through the openings, it's important to remember speed chess isn't just about playing the right moves, it's also about budgeting your time. Even if you steer the position into a complex shootout while keeping your time, you'll be better equipped to fight through the middle and end games and capitalize on your opponent's blunders. Good luck.